more than capable. And the effective safety has yielded the first chance.
That's what SVB does very well when he's hooked and stuff like that. He always makes sure he hits the ball. He makes his opponent come and play a shot, worst case. This instance, Masato's played a good shot there. He's got a shot on the 2 now, the blue 2. Shot coming up. He's going to play for a combo. He's having a look at the pot as well. So he's got options here. It would be far easier to get the cue ball back down the right hand side of the table for the pink 4 onto 9 combo. That would be an early win if you're tuning into Nineball for the first ever time. As long as you hit the lowest ball on the table first. If another ball goes in, you stay at the table. But if the 9 goes in, you win the rack. That's what he's playing. He's playing for this combo.
You would think the percentage is heavily in his favour, especially after that excellent camera shot right down the barrel. Masato Yoshioka has taken the first rack from the defending world 9-ball champion.
At the great line, I think that's why he stood back up. He's okay, he's a little near the rail. He'd like this to bounce off. Yeah, it's come off not too bad. A little bit closer would have made this a formality.
I was about to say, in terms of potting, that's his first real test. And it was flunked spectacularly.
The lights, the cameras have not helped him there. If that was on an outside table, he'll have potted that 8 and the 9, and he would have been 2-0 up. SVB's jacked up though, this can go wrong. He'll be happy with that, where the cue ball's finished.
You know, in any cue sport, turning points can happen at any point in any match, and we might well have seen the turning point there. It's 1-1. So this rack almost identical to the one that preceded it, i.e. good break from Shane van Boening. A cracking 2-ball to open the lock, and then barging through. And how expensive will that missed 8-ball from Yoshioka in rack 2 turn out to be? On this evidence, Carl, I think it's going to be extremely expensive. Van Boening breaking and running consecutive racks. He now leads by 3-1.
Another break and run.
You sensed it, Carl, didn't you, mentioning the propensity of Van Boening to put together these packages. Oh, as it's the 7-ball a little askew. One-way traffic. It's now all Shane Van Boening, 5-1 ahead. That means he's more than halfway to opening his title defence with a hefty victory.
It's no stranger, Shane, to put a 5 back together, because he's one of the few players in the venue who's capable of doing this. He's taking a look at this break. Watch how hard he's hitting the cut break. Look at the cue ball, it might be flying around the table, but he's decided he's going to sacrifice that. And he's got another shot on the lowest ball. Look where the 2's finished. Getting on the 3 is going to be really difficult though. Let's have a look where the 3 finishes. Yeah, it doesn't go past the 7. Doesn't look like he go in the side pocket, so he may have to play for a bank shot to keep this run going.
Spearheading the USA Challenge at the championship, as he has done for the last decade or so. Oh, and look at this. Look at this.
Well, if he can play that up into the top corner, he will do, but what a positional shot he's played there. To even try and draw that back in a straight line, it's absurd. The run is over. He'll be disappointed with that one. He would have loved to have run the set out. He'll be fuming, will the defending champ. Well, you can see that it's very tight indeed. Yeah, it was horrible. It really was. Has he got lucky? He hasn't.
2 shots in this match where he's caught a pot too thick, too full. The 8 ball in the second rack, and now that admittedly much tougher pot. And it could quite easily be the beginning of the end. One result for you. James Georgiadis held Joshua Filler to 3-3, but then Filler won the next 6. He's come through 9-3.
Decided to play the bank because that offered easier position for this next ball.
And you know, Carl, the thing with Shane Van Boening, and you've alluded to this already this evening, even though he's got all of the shots, he's got a massive locker of spectacular shots, he just keeps things simple when he has to. Doesn't take any outlandish risk.
Unlike the one he's just took.
Yes.
And it's gone a little bit wrong, Phil. Right on cue, the commentators.
I know. As soon as I said it, I thought, oh. Yeah. But normally speaking, he doesn't push the boat out, does he, in terms of shot selection? He just keeps it as concise and sensible as possible.
Yeah, I think he's still okay here. It's a little bank shot. And it's a good job he's just come back from the Derby City Classic, where they host a bank pool tournament there, and clearly he's banking the ball very good indeed, because he's had to pull off a couple of good ones here, though that wasn't clean.
Yeah, he wobbled a similar 7 ball into that pocket earlier. Now though, in a town surrounded by hills, Shane Van Boening is on the hill. He leads by 8 racks to 2.
To the corner, so he's got a chance to redeem himself here. Spinning the cue ball back off a couple of rails.
won't know his opponent in the next round for a while yet. Mats Shetner from Norway, 5-4 up on Jakob Connier in a much more closely contested affair than this. But here in Poland for Van Boening, it's first mission accomplished. The cornerstone of this success, 5 consecutive break and run-outs. Shane Van Boening makes a really good start to his title defense. He defeats Masato Yoshioka comfortably and impressively by 9 racks to 2.
Yeah, you saw number 6 after his name there. That's his seeding based on where he was at the end of last year. He's actually climbed a place in the rankings since then. So it is the world number 5 as it stands now, getting us off and running.
And speaking of that break shot I was talking about, this is exactly what I meant, that maybe this opening break or his opening break can get him started. Making 3 on the break, does have a nice shot on the 2, and the 3 is open. But I think you're going to see him take a little more time at the beginning of this match. Not anything like outlandish, but just making sure, you know, he kind of gets out when he's supposed to. Don't let a lead that's supposed to be kind of slip away and turn it into a dogfight.
Even taking this time suggests this is probably going to be one of the shortest opening racks, one of the shortest racks full stop that we've seen all day. Those 3 balls going down off the break.
And he's perfect here on the 8, just has to maybe stun over an inch, maybe. Just kind of play the shot naturally. I said earlier that talked to Jayson right before this match, and
getting his started. Things going nicely so far. Oh, and just as I say that, he scratches in the side.
Yeah, I think 3 little kisses of the cue ball right there at the rack area. And the cue ball kind of followed the 9 towards the side. Exactly what Candela kind of needed, or maybe not needed, but you would think he needs to get himself started in a calm manner, ball in hand. Nothing better. A little off angle here, I think. I don't know if he easily stuns over for the 9 in the same pocket. You can see him kind of looking at this, or if he can go forward easily for the 9 on the side or the upper corner. Main thing on these is don't take your eye off the object ball. That's the key. Gets this 9 down. Pretty clean run out from a kind of a little bit of a touchy layout.
Yeah, it was the scratch in the side from Shaw that handed him the initiative. And Candela. Oh, okay. Wow.
Points the second.
The 9 kind of had him cut off. Maybe he's still trying to do that. He may surrender a shot here, and it's going to be a long one. Nothing easy, but see, Eagle Eye was trying to point it at the 3 ball. He was hoping the 1 would get contained from a little bump on the 3. This is an in-between shot. I mean, you can roll it. Speed's got to be nice, and stroke's got to be pure to hold for the 2. He could elevate, but from this distance, you wouldn't think so. He is elevating. So you can miss this a few different ways, thin or thick. Oh, that's sweet. I'll tell you what. A couple of the tough shots, he's made look the easiest, Michael. The corner ball last time, but can't really depend on that happening too much. It's got to be the 1 on the side for the most part. Tricky real first shot here from Jayson. I think the purple 5's got him cut off the 1 directly. definitely going to take this on. He's got to hit just past the side. Well, thought he was going to take it on. Looked like he was about to swerve the ball. Touchy little rail first on the slick felt. He's got to kind of cue this with a little low also. Maybe low. Yeah, see him cueing downward, trying to bring the cue ball out enough to cut the one in. And he did it too much.
Foul stroke. No contact, ball in hand.
Doesn't have to. You'd hate to go into it and put it into a bad spot, but might move it towards that side pocket. Yeah. You want an angle on the 5 anyways. And the reason why it would have been nice to put it over the side is the 7 can be a little tricky getting on the 8. So if your speed's off coming around the table here, that could make it a little tougher getting on the 9.
After that wonderful opening rack from Shaw, things went off the boil a little, but some nice fluid.
A little straight here, so he can't get quite as close to the 4, I don't think, that he wants. Doesn't need to get really close to it, but wants to get a little beyond the side to play the 5.
He doesn't have a lot of history in this championship. Was a quarter-finalist back in 2016 and beat some very good players to get there. Copigny, who was the defending champion that year, of course, and Dennis Orcolio went down in the last 8-12. And Ocean, who went on to win the championship for the first of his 2 so far.
You can hear a big applause there for Fortunski in a very tight match. Maybe 7 all, I think. Maybe something like that.
Sure.
Because he's had at times a suspect draw stroke. It's like from nowhere, and it's usually on the easier ones, not the tougher ones.
Yeah, the International was that big event that he won in Virginia in November. Beat Victor Zielinski in the final, and was very honest afterwards, said, I've struggled the last 12 months, just wasn't feeling it, and maybe his mind was on other things.
He's gotten on the 50 here, so got to make a nice shot in the side, work the cue ball around the 9. Well, a place you're comfortable in, right? That's kind of like a good place to go to when things aren't going your way, and maybe you couldn't wait for that International to come quick enough.
Well, he was the champion there, and he's starting to play like a champion here. 2 breaking runs in a row, and that's 6-3.
Now Jayson should follow that 2-rail path that the 3 just went on, trying to get at this kick shot. He's going to go across the table. Take a rip at this.
Oh. Wow, look where this has finished.
Between everything to get perfect position on the ping 4.
Yeah, what a result. And so it doesn't look as though Candela's attempt to come from 3 behind to draw level is going to prove successful here.
And Jayson picking up the pace, really getting ready to cue the ball before it settles. A little frustration maybe, Michael?
What's that?
A little frustration maybe picking up the pace here?
Yeah, I think so. Chimes in with what we were saying earlier. But he'll be a bit less frustrated now because he's gone 2 clear again. Jayson Shaw now needs 2 more to advance. He leads Francesco Candela by 7 racks to 5 in the World Championship.
tell you, regardless, like I said before, wins this match or not, he's keep doing what he's doing here, improve the break a little bit. You gotta like his chances making the final 64.
I don't think anyone watching this won't want to face him on the loser side, if indeed that's where he ends up.
He's a long ways from there, because he's still at the table, and he has a good shot here on the 5. And finally had his best break off of the match.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can to stay out of the loser side. This would be a huge landmark win for him if he can complete the turnaround.
You landed funny here. So here's the time to not try and do too much with the cue ball as far as getting it off the rail. You want to come back a little bit, but I think if you get involved with getting really good on the 9, you make maybe the 8 a little missable. Wouldn't mind cueing kind of over the side pocket. He didn't want to shoot off the rail, Michael. Took a chance there, in my opinion.
Steeling himself, taking a deep breath, knows it's a huge moment. This has turned into one of the most intriguing clashes of this opening day of the World Championship. Candela was 8-5 down. He's now back to just 1 behind, and he'll be breaking with a chance to take us to a hill finish. It's 8-7 to Shaw.
I think he's giving up a chance here. Love the aggressive, but this kind of bank is hard to gauge. And the cue ball, and he's left an opening. And physically, I think the adrenaline gets going, right? When you know you're drained, right? But I think the mental side of it, you know, you can just kind of push it a little much.
Yeah, I think Shaw's at a stage now where he just wants to get this over with, go off and get some rest. Come back here tomorrow afternoon to play, most likely Tobias Bongers, who's 6-1 up on Davy Piergiovanni. The outcome is still far from assured here, and what a chance this is for Candela. He led 3-2. He then lost the next 4 racks. The last 2 of those were break-and runs from Shaw, so all the momentum was running the way of the Scot.
Yeah, and I think just a little fatigue has let the brain slip, just because if you saw the 1 ball even, right, the start of this rack, Michael, Jayson was doing everything he could to not have to play safe on the 2. He was trying to produce something on the 1. He made it a much tougher shot, trying to get offensive for the 2. And even there, when he didn't land where he wanted, he still kind of pushed the envelope, staying offensive. So just overcut it. He had a similar shot early in mid-match, maybe, that he hit similar, but it did catch the pocket and fall. That one just caught the outer point. So if I was Shaw, I wouldn't want an angle on the 5. I'd like to get nice and straight on the 5 here and just follow down for the 6 on the side. Okay, he actually got even better than straight. He got underneath it, which was hard to do.
Has the moment passed for that man?
No, watch out. This could get awkward. Okay, he carried some angle, but with the 9 over the spot, this is still funny. 3 rails to short side. Yeah. Watch out, corner pocket.
This is going to be so hard for Candela to take. Got into this championship at number 83 in the world rankings. But from 8-5 down, he got all the way back to 8-all against Jayson Shaw. Had his chance to win it, but a miss on the 4 has ended up being his last shot.
Francesco.
Shaw has seen it out from there and survived this real challenge on the opening night to win by 9 racks to 8.